Tyler, permission to speak freely.
Of course, Chief.
This is the Navy, where a commanding officer is a mighty and terrible thing. A man to be feared and respected, all-knowing, all-powerful. Don't you dare say what you said to the boys back there again. I don't know. Those 3 words will kill a crew, dead as a depth charge. You're the skipper now, and the skipper always knows what to do, whether he does or not.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. This is episode 144, and today we are talking about U-571. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew Soup at Sea Jemison.
Ahoy.
Thank you. Joe, the last time Radio Shack was relevant, Protakovich.
Am I that old?
Oh.
No, just Radio Shack hasn't been relevant since 1944. I know. Burn.
I still buy stuff from Radio Shack.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Actually, I bought a whole bunch of batteries from them not too long ago because they were on sale. And Sam, do your job, sailor. Vector.
It's better that Sie schon toten. Sie schmutzt böse klein rot Kopfruck.
Should I bleep any of that?
Nein.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because I don't want to have to translate it and find out that you just said a bunch of F words, and I don't want to have to go back and bleep.
There was no cussing in German.
Thank you.
That. There was no Scheiße or or anything like that.
Do I need to bleep that now? Damn it.
I speak a little German, and you might need to bleep one of those.
Yeah.
I don't speak any German, but I would if I were you.
No. Thanks, Sam. Sam, it's good to have you back, pal.
Man, anytime. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, just drop F-bombs. Thank you.
I did it in German.
You did it in German. See, I don't know. The thing is that because though it was in German, but it didn't. I don't know. I'm just gonna bleep it anyway.
Probably safer though.
So let's pull up the captain's chair and dive into this movie. Dive in. It worked again. So this
takes me to 200.
We're
just doing 150 now.
Oh no. It was funny. There's a moment in the movie. Speaking of that very thing, Sam, where he says, "Take us to 200." What does he say? Take us to 100 meters or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And then he's like, "That's over 150 feet for the people at home that for dumb Americans at home that don't know conversion." He might as well have just looked at the camera and said that.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, a little bit.
Been awesome.
It would have been great. This is 2000's U-571, starring your Matthew McConaughey. I know people.
I totally forgot the other person was in this, by the way.
Bill Paxton. Didn't I mention that last week? That was your favorite guy?
Me too.
He is
Thank
the
God I'm glad
worst.
I took a note on that said, I hate Bill Paxton.
He's horrible. And almost every single thing he's in is just he's a tool.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Isn't that right, brah?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to have it ready to go, and I forgot. Yeah, here.
Hey, brah!
There you go. So,
yeah, see? That movie would have been great except for him. It's still a pretty good movie, though.
He actually I think he made the movie better because he made, as a character, we kind of felt bad for him and hated him at the same time. Anyway.
But hated him first.
Yeah, mostly hated him because he's a douche.
Did we hated him?
Oh.
But.
Where is it? Oh, oh wait.
We're already digging.
Then I would have hated it. But
what were you talking about there, Andrew?
in the butt, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I see what you did there.
yes, thank you. So we'll have to get something. Unfortunately, JP hasn't said anything crazy. Oh, so sorry. So I'm going on like this is normal. So JP, Joe Protakovich, he is my brother-in-law. He is my wife's brother. And
Who's never been on a U-boat?
he has not been on a U-boat.
No.
Well, not a U-boat. I've been on a submarine, but not a U-boat. But it was like
Was it yellow?
no, it wasn't. No, it was
Did
down
you
in
live there?
it was Charleston, South Carolina, where you can go when you're in the Boy Scouts, and you can go and you can stay on the.
Where's that? In Charleston. I know they've
Oh,
got
the Yorktown.
Yeah, it's the USS Yorktown. It's the aircraft
Seriously?
carrier. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking Wilmington. That's where I was on the big battleship.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
doing
USS North Carolina.
I'm doing that this April.
With your son.
Yeah, he's in Scouts. We're going to sleep on the boat, whatever that.
Oh, have fun.
Entails.
Cool.
Yeah.
So just Andrew, just a heads up.
Is it hot?
I don't remember that. What I remember, well, April, it won't be hot. But what I remember is that the first night they do a fire drill. They always do a fire drill the first night. At least that was my recollection of it. And other people have told me that. So it's literally like once you get in bed and because you're going to be exhausted after that first day, and you're going to get in bed, and then they're going to hit that fire alarm, and the bunk is about 6 inches above you, unless you're on the top bunk, and then it's the bulkhead. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the bunks are like 4 or 5 deep. So like if you're on the bottom bunk, you're like 1 inch off the ground. It's pretty crazy. But there docked at the Yorktown is the USS, I think Bowfin, which is a World War II submarine, and you can tour that as well, which I did.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry. So if you live near Charleston, listeners, go check that out sometime. It's actually a pretty cool little thing. I think they have it where you can do the automated tour where you pay the couple bucks and you get the thing in your ear. But
Dude,
that
I'd
was
totally do that. Next time I'm down there, I'm going to do it.
that was years ago. They probably have it now on your iPhone. Like download an app and you can.
Oh, they have real sailors follow you around and whisper in your ear.
That's even better.
You see,
Hey.
that's where people slept. That's where I slept. Do you want to go in and lay down?
Oh,
For $5 extra, you can get like the beer smell on their breath.
all right, yeah. I want the real authentic sailor. For another $5, they'll swear at you.
What the hell is happening here?
Ooh, I don't know. I was kind of digging it though. Was that an autoplay on some stupid website you're looking at?
Holy cow, what was that?
At least she wasn't breathing deep.
Okay.
Anybody there? What's going on?
I
Sorry.
have no idea.
Oh, Lord. I went to some sort of website and it, like, exploded in my ears.
Oh, you need an adult now?
Some sort of dance music or something.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, I had to.
Swedish techno.
I need new underwear. Yeah.
Gross.
Okay, while I go change, I'll be right back.
All right. Yes, that's a good idea. Sam's computer actually is going to reboot. But my point is that JP is my brother-in-law, and he is filling in for Corny for the last time. It will be the last time, JP, until there's a next time, which I'm sure there will be.
I was going to say, I was about to be upset about the whole last time. Like, damn, used, abused, kicked to the curb.
No, I'm sure there'll be another time or two when somebody needs a week off for various reasons. So we'll bring you up from the bullpen. But in the meantime, while Sam's computer reboots, as it does every night at this time, has anyone seen this movie before?
Oh, yes.
Andrew?
I have.
I had never seen it.
I can't remember. When Sam gets back, we'll ask him. So you were watching this through Virgin Eyes, so I'm really interested to see your take on that. So what is your your initial thoughts, sir?
Would you want to know what the movie's about?
Oh,
first?
please, yes. What is U-571? Surely it's not the combination of somebody's locker. What is U-571?
All right. A German submarine is boarded by disguised American submariners trying to capture their Enigma cipher machine.
Submariners? You say submariners instead of submariners?
That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Well, I mean, whatever. I think it works.
Submariners, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Submariners sounds like an old washed-up football player. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah, this is the first time I saw it, and it was Not what I was expecting. I honestly expected the film to be pretty bad, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. I don't know how historically accurate, if it is at all.
We'll go into depth into detail about that.
My guess is probably not, but I did enjoy it. I thought some of it might have been a little far-fetched as to the accuracy of what happened with some of their torpedoes and different firing mechanisms that they might have had. But I did enjoy it. It was kind of a action shoot-'em-up flick that I didn't expect. I kind of expected it to be more like what's the one we just watched with Bumblebee Tuna?
Oh, Independence Day. No, Imitation Game.
Imitation Game. I expected it to be more almost informational and less of an action flick, but I liked it. You know, I enjoyed spending some time in this compact little space with these brooding and somewhat confused men.
Okay. JP.
I just, it's World War II. I mean, it's just this fascination with, I mean, you look at modern day war versus war back then. I mean, literally, they were sitting in a tin can waiting. And you just hope that the captain called out the right numbers and that the guy dialed them in right. And like at the one point when the torpedo like literally deflects off the side. I mean, when you get wrapped up in a character and you put yourself in his position, I mean, like, I can't imagine what it would be like. I mean, first of all, like you said, you're down there with all these sweaty dudes. I'm pretty sure there's no AC. I mean, you're lucky you got oxygen down there. And it's just, I can't think of one positive thing to say about being in a submarine in World War II.
Right.
So it's interesting to it's interesting to see. I mean, they're running on diesel engines and they're trying to be quiet and they're getting pinged, and I mean you can hear the ping and you're just hoping that they're not pinging you, and then they're dropping depth charges and all you can do is just wait and hope that your ship doesn't crumple. I mean, it's fascinating to me.
Right on.
Not
I
to
thoroughly
mention,
enjoyed it.
not to mention, you're stuck in this tin can with Matthew McConaughey, who doesn't wear deodorant.
Oh, right.
Oh, gross.
Or underwear.
Ooh.
Or underwear, yeah.
Is that a thing?
That's the thing.
Ew, that's gross. Sorry, I was waiting for, I'm stalling now, waiting for Sam to come back. So, I think he's back. Maybe. So I have seen this movie, 2000's U-571, year 2000. In the year 2000. Sam, you back?
I am back.
All right, we
Sam,
literally
underwear
did.
changed.
Sam, he did it. He stalled long enough that now you have to tell before Sean tells if he liked the movie or not. He literally held out and wouldn't tell. I mean, he was just on the verge, and then, oh, look, Sam's back.
Sam's
I mean,
here.
like, you know, so I've already had to give mine without. So I can't. You know, we're stuck. We're stuck, man.
Yeah. So it's your turn now, Sam. Your initial. Have you seen this before, Sam?
Have I seen this before? Yeah, a little while ago. I hadn't seen this since, but you know, I'm a sucker for submarine movies.
Mm.
I enjoy them, and you know, Mr. McConaughey wasn't the typical McConaughey that we've grown to know. Basically, the pothead type McConaughey wasn't really in this movie all that much.
All right.
Right.
He didn't grow.
Exactly.
He hadn't grown the mustache yet.
Yeah, man. But after watching, not Inception, what did we watch? Imitation Game.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding and knowing the importance of the Enigma machine and what it meant to the Allies, I was really interested to figure out, you know, how they got the Enigma machine. And I thought, oh yeah, now we're going to watch U-571. We're going to figure out how they get it. And, you know, kind of our bookend submarine / World War II code breaking is going to make sense. But the more I looked into it, the more mad I got at this movie that it's complete and utter nonsense. This movie, they're like, they say it's based on real life, based on a true story. Yes, but it's like, this is like the third Enigma machine that they got. And they're talking about how important it was in the movie when it really wasn't in real life, since they already had the Enigmas to begin with.
Right.
So
But they didn't have this one. This one was waterproof.
this must have been a very special one, right? This is the one that had the English subtitles.
Yeah, this one was
when they
salt
typed.
waterproof nonetheless.
Yeah. So that kind of made me mad to begin, and I guess I shouldn't have really done my research while the movie was happening.
Yeah.
'Cause it really turned me off to the movie in terms of
Accuracy.
the historical accuracy. But take that out of the equation, and the whole idea of these guys having to abandon their own ship and drive around a pretty much crappy little U-boat, since they almost blew it to hell to begin with. It was fun. It was a fun little story. I enjoyed it. Of course, people drown. Everybody drowns in these submarine movies. And there's always depth charges and people staring into the distance, waiting for things to blow up around them. It's just it's an interesting story, and I liked the way they crafted it. The only big qualm I have with, other than historical accuracy, when they abandon the U-boat and they're in the river life
Raft.
and they start paddling, and I'm like, why are they wasting their energy paddling this thing? They're just going to be adrift in the middle of the Atlantic for quite some time.
Right.
And then like the next scene, they're like laying down in the boat, like half dead, and the plane flies overhead. And I was like, see, you would have been much better off had you not tried to row to Greenland.
Now wait a minute. Not only did they row, but they turned it around first.
Yes.
Like they
Yeah,
knew
like
the
they do
direction they were
exactly
heading
what
in.
Well, I mean, if the sun is up, then I guess they know which direction to go.
We go north.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
so you got to wait till the star comes up before you can go north.
But yeah, if I wasn't into history, sure, this movie's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
But since I'm halfway into World War II history and kind of like that kind of stuff, it really makes me mad when they give credit where credit really isn't due.
Is that your throw to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry, I was
Sorry,
waiting. I didn't know
I'm-
if you were taking a breath, but so U-571, I of course own this on DVD, but what movie from this era didn't I own? I haven't seen it in years, and I mean years, and do I think it holds up? Some parts do, some parts don't. All right? The destroyer at the end of the movie blowing up, that looked fake as shit. I mean, it looked
Yes, it
bad. Like 1980s graphic painting on film bad, right?
Uh-huh.
But other than that, I mean, I guess the effects of being underwater and watching the depth charge blow and kind of rattling the ship and watching the ship kind of shudder from that, I thought that was actually pretty well done and pretty cool. I liked the fact that they had actual boats. They got an actual German submarine to film on and in some. So I liked a lot of the sets were pretty cool, and the fact that they were able to get an actual boat and have it swim around in the ocean a while I think was a pretty cool thing. And I think they were actually able to get it to dive, which was pretty cool. So as far as the historical
That's called
inaccuracy,
putting water in it.
yeah, okay. As far as the historical inaccuracies, we can talk about that in a minute because I feel like we need to apologize for this movie, in a way, and by we I mean Americans in Hollywood. But with that being said, as far as just the movie itself goes, I had fun with it. I kind of like, I know I've talked on the show many times. I love submarine movies. I love the you're isolated. You're in this, like Andrew said, this tin can, and it's some of it's luck, some of it's you're at the hands of the engineers, the people that built the boat. And I mean, the only reason why they survived, seriously, the only reason why they survived is that the German boat that they fought, the German U-boat that they fought, hit the S-33 first and killed most of the German prisoners, by the way. And then, so good job, Germans, you're killing your own. And then the fact that they just missed and that torpedo kind of ricocheted off the hull, and then McConaughey's torpedo hit, right? I mean, it wasn't that he was a better shot. He was just luckier, I think, right? I mean, I'm not too far off in that, right? I mean, that's the way it was back then. You just aimed and hoped, as opposed to like modern era where torpedoes can home in and there's, countermeasures and stuff like that. So
You got dolphins nowadays too.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
strap
sure.
some explosives to them and
Yeah.
just set them off.
I've played Battleship before, and that shit is hard.
Well, the worst
There's a lot of missing in Battleship.
The worst is in Axis and Allies when you're playing that and the submarine dives and you're like, damn it, I missed with my planes. Now I got to waste a turn.
Oh, they only roll a 1.
Yeah. Well, that's only no, 2. They roll 2 for attack. Anyway.
I thought it was 1.
No, transport's offended 1. Anyway, no one cares. For my Axis and Allies.
Let's talk about AA.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll push my glasses back up. Yeah.
For my Axis and Allies podcast, tune in to which is a fantastic board game. But anyway. So, do we want to go there with the historical inaccuracies? Because Andrew had not seen this, and you said, Andrew, you felt like this was pretty not accurate, right?
Right. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but I don't believe any of it.
Right. So, the Americans did at one point capture a German U-boat. It wasn't U-571, it was U-550 or something like that. Doesn't matter. They did do that, and they did capture an Enigma machine. But that didn't happen until 1944, 3 years after Cumberbatch had already broken Enigma. So
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Now, in fairness, the Americans didn't know that, right? The British didn't tell. I would doubt.
Very true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I doubt that the
Americans are still trying to do what the British did 3 years prior.
Right.
Basically.
And I doubt that the British, I mean, you saw how tight-lipped they were in that movie, and I think it was probably maybe even more so. So I doubt that the British shared that information for fear of it getting out.
Should we tell the Americans? No, shut up and drink your brandy. All right.
Awesome. Winston Churchill came back.
Oh, he needs to make some appearances. That was fantastic. Anyway, so what this movie is supposedly representing is actually a British sub that does an assault on a ship and takes one of the first Enigma. Now, the first machine they got was from Polish intelligence, which they say in the imitation came in 1938. But in 1941, when I think they say this is this part of the war happens, that was in fact true. That a British submarine did in fact capture a German U-boat and take an Enigma machine. But I don't think they disguised themselves as a German U-boat and did all the subterfuge, and they wouldn't have time. I mean, in order to make a boat look like a different boat, that takes days. And they made it seem like they did it in half an hour.
They had some cardboard cutouts that they put up top.
Yeah. Cardboard works real well.
Boys, go get the cardboard.
Yeah, we'll sketch it out. So,
although you say that this was an American ship, or these were Americans that should have been British.
Yeah.
Aren't there a lot of British actors that are like playing American parts? I know like half the cast of Walking Dead are British. Isn't Superman British?
Is he British or is he Irish? I think he might be British.
Yeah, so turnaround is fair game.
Well, I mean, okay. We Americans have been doing that for a while. I'm going to blame Hollywood, other than it's not the four of us in this room or on this podcast have anything to do with it. Hollywood's been doing that for years. But I'll say this simply that they basically took what actual British sailors did and then took credit for it in this movie. And the only reason why, if you guys watch to the credits in this movie where they say, at the end of them, where they say that the 3 other times when Enigma machines were taken and they were done by British Navy, that was because when this movie came out in theaters, the British literally, like the Navy was like, wait a minute, this is not true. Like, those are our men who died doing this thing. You need to make that correction. So that's why they threw that at the end, literally because of pressure from the Navy, from the British Navy. So
What kind of pressure can the British Navy do to us?
well, anyway.
They're like, yeah, our fish and chips are sour.
To our British listeners, Sam is just an asshole, so please ignore him. We do love you, our cousins to the across the pond.
They
Yes,
were our
yes.
oppressors for years.
I'm no gynecologist, but I know a cunt when I see one.
Should I bleep that too?
You're going to have to bleep that one out too, I think.
Oh man, what's wrong with you, Churchill? You got a potty mouth.
Oh, my bad.
Sam can at least blame it on the meds, but geez,
Andrew's gonna blame it on scotch or something, or the brandy.
the brandy. It's got to be the brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it boils down to our British listeners. We're sorry that we Americans, we Hollywood like to take
Yeah, we like to take
everything
credit.
for everything. I will say this about World War II. I love studying it. I've read many books on it, and one of my history professors in college, he learned history from when he was doing his doctoral from a gentleman who lived the war, who was he was British. And he says, at the start of the war, when he entered it in 1940, he said, he was in Africa during the African campaign, and he said, I stood there with a troop of soldiers from Canada on my left, and a troop of soldiers from Australia on my right, and a troop of from India, troops behind me, and I felt the weight of the British Empire around me, and I was in awe of it. By 1945, when we were invading Germany, I was sitting in a Jeep being followed by a Sherman tank with P-51 Mustangs flying overhead, eating a can of corned beef from Hormel, New Jersey. He said, clearly the power had shifted to America. So, I'm not saying we won the war. I'm just saying, obviously, the United States.
We won the war.
We had a lot to do with it, and things like that. So, but we love you, England. To our British listeners, you guys are awesome. So keep listening, please, because you're our only listeners. The director of this fine film, Jonathan Mastow, has done such films as this one. And the next movie he did was Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, which is arguably the worst one.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
But also based on a true story, right?
It is all, yeah, it's all true. And then he did a movie in 2009 called Surrogates with your Bruce Willis and some other people. And basically the idea is that people have become so paranoid that they have these robot surrogates that live their days that they like. It's like Avatar, basically. They have these avatars that walk around and do stuff for them, and it's got a lot of good people in it, and it's fine. It's a fine movie. It's not great. It's fine. So anyway, other than that, that's kind of it. He did an episode of The Last Ship, and now he's doing something called Hunter's Prayer, which is got Sam Worthington. Speaking of Avatar, and a bunch of other people I've never heard of. So, in fact, an assassin helps a young woman avenge the death of her family. Well, that sounds super original. Just like every other movie I've ever heard of. Yep, there you go. So, this movie financially did pretty well. Budget of $62 million. It grossed in the U.S. $77 million. Anybody want to guess what the worldwide?
190.
190.
Oh, was it right?
No, it's 127.
Oh.
But still, it made some money. So, people are like, hey, Matthew McConaughey, who is this guy? He's kind of weird. He's got a strange accent. And I'll say this. Harvey Keitel is my favorite part of the movie. Anybody else kind of get that vibe from him or no?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I kind of like Billy Joel. I mean, not Billy Joel. John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi as the dude that took the piece of metal to the face.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. So, JP, we've had on this show this from ever since episode 101 when we did Darkman. We've had this kind of idea that whenever there's a character or thing idea introduced in a movie and then it just disappears without any kind of, well, hey, what happened to that? We just refer to it as the hopping man from Darkman, where there was a guy who literally was on one leg in the first half of the movie and then he just was never in the rest of the movie. So the Major Matthew Coonan, the David Keith character, he was the Marine guy. What happened to him? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Which one was he?
he was the guy who,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Like, he was there, and then they did the boarding of the U-boat, and then he was gone. Now, so I put it in my notes, like, what happened to him? Well, then I read later on in the trivia that they filmed a scene of him dying, but they couldn't get the CGI to work. So they dropped the scene. But
So we just are led to believe he died in the... Oh, wait. Did he get on the enemy ship?
no, he was back on the S-33 when it got blown up. But like we don't.
Okay, so we're just led to believe he died on there.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that's weird. This movie won an Oscar. Did you guys know that? I mean,
Which were they not alert?
Sound
You
design
think they would have been more alert? They knew that they were racing to this boat, and it's like, oh, we got there first. Shit. Well, let's take our time. Like, no big deal. And then all of a sudden, there's a torpedo heading in another direction, and the guy just stands there like, oh, man.
Yeah, that was you're 100% right, JP. I thought the exact same thing. Like, why wouldn't you have the other radio guy, right? Let's say you have only one radio guy, fine, but couldn't you have a backup radio guy just on the hydrophone, constantly listening for another boat? Because
Right.
like
They're coming.
yeah, they're like, we estimate him to be an hour away. That's an estimate. Why don't you hurry the hell up and get out of there? Like, no, you're right. It was this is what what happens when people make bad decisions in movies. It just pisses me off. I didn't know Sauron made an appearance in this movie, but apparently the Great Red Eye was the intro to this movie. It was pretty great. I like movies that have letterbox and put some of the text on the black. I thought that was I like that. Makes it easier to read. It's also super convenient that the destroyer that attacked U-571 dropped its depth charges and then just left.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to drop 10 and then leave. Because they came to the surface and that thing was gone. And I thought, like, well, why didn't the Germans do that when Matthew McConaughey was the captain? But anyway.
Maybe they're running out of low on fuel.
I mean, that's very possible. But
Or how about like the German boat that sank the boat that we the 33 or whatever it was?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't they radio when they saw them and go, oh shit, the Americans are here? Like, would that have ruined everything? I mean, why didn't they radio back to headquarters or whatever?
You have to surface to radio.
That's true.
So they were probably afraid to surface because then you're kind of an easier target, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I love Keitel. Sorry, that was like my third time I wrote that. Yeah, he's great. And like my fourth note is, hey, it's Sam's favorite man. So I've done this on the show before when there's something that happens in the movie and I questioned its validity, but I have to research it because I know Sam will argue me if I don't. So
I would never argue with you.
yeah. No, we don't argue on this show. Never. Every night. And I was curious about when McConaughey's got the U-571 and they take it down to, was it 200 meters, right? And they're like, that's crush depth. So I was like, I want to know what's the deepest a boat's ever gone. Like, is that physically possible? And I did some digging for about 15 minutes, so it's not like I was really into the research. But I found a couple of sites that had links to other sites where it was like journals of German U-boat captains. And one during an exercise, due to malfunction and human error, accidentally went to 300 meters. And once because their gauge thingy wasn't working, and then literally like they thought they were only at like 200, and all of a sudden the thing kicked over and was like, hey, we're at 300, and the boat was like starting to collapse, and they did an emergency blow, and then they were able to get up and survive. So those boats were rated actually to go to 300 meters, which is crazy to think, but
But on the other hand, too, this boat that they were in was surfaced because it was totally trashed. I mean, the depth charges hit, they had to come up, and yet McConaughey and his crew were able to totally turn this boat around and make it 100% usable again.
well, I wouldn't say 100%. I mean, half of the engine only worked, right? Only one engine worked.
Well, and I guess it was the diesel. And the one guy did say, like, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I can
Right.
fix this diesel engine, so he did get that up and running.
No, he didn't say they didn't know what the hell they were doing. He said,
Portside diesel's the good news. Where the crowds had wrenching on didn't know a piston head from his sister's titty. I think I can fix it.
that's what he said.
Yeah, and that was fantastic too.
It was great. It made me laugh.
The heavy breathing helped.
I think the main reason why I think that the Germans had to surface was because the engine room was on fire, right? Like it killed all the mechanics, right? And all the engineers, whatever you call them, mechanics, and they surfaced because the boat was on fire. But they did have. I mean, the German did say, there's a little bit of, juice in the battery, where he literally says in German, that's enough to dive and move around a little bit. So basically letting us know that's going to happen in a little
they
bit.
can still move around a little bit.
And that's going to happen in a little while, and that's the justification. So, Andrew, you saw this for the first time. I'm going to ask you something. Did you realize that the German that they captured was the captain?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, for years.
You didn't?
No.
You didn't recognize him?
It was probably...
The blue eyes.
It was the hat that threw it off.
Well,
He had his
What else have we seen him?
Paddington
though?
bear hat.
I recognized that.
oh, you should definitely recognize that guy. He
Was it
was...
Paddington Bear? I think.
No, he was... He would later go on to act in something else. Wait. Sorry.
Titanic.
Oh, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. No, he's Captain America, the Winter Soldier. He's Baron Wolfgang von Strucker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have to bleep that later?
No, I'm okay on that one. He was also in Wanted. He played Cross.
And the pianist. That's where I remember him.
Oh, ooh, I might have to bleep that.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
also in King Kong.
King Kong. That's right. He was the
Captain.
The captain. Yeah.
Typecast.
Well, then he's
Oh, he was freaking Blade 2. He was Damaskinos. He's the freaking bad guy, the main bad guy. The head
Didn't
vampire.
recognize him.
Well, yeah, because he's all weird.
Oh my gosh!
He didn't
And
have his fangs on.
He was in Cars 2 as Professor Z. I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
I think he was also Papa Smurf.
Was it? No, that's cool. Good for him. So anyway, he was in something called Green Sails. Talk about typecast. Come on now. Anyway, yeah, it was probably... Shoot, it might have been this viewing where I was like, oh, that's the captain. I don't know why. Because like every other German they showed on the boat had facial hair. So I was having a hard time distinguishing them. I'm sorry. Racist, I know.
Speaking of which, like, I was thinking, when he's talking about like putting the dead guy in the tube and shooting him out.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they just take the German and put him in the tube alive and shoot him out? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
That's cruel and unusual punishment, and we Americans are better than that. That's what the movie's trying to tell you. Germans are bad,
Dick
Americans
Cheney.
are good. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what the movie is saying. I mean, the movie went out of its way to prove to us that the Germans are bad. Like, oh, look, there's all these survivors. Oh, well, we better shoot them because we have to. I mean, and And that probably did happen in war, but, you know, the movie went out of its way to remind us that Germans are bad and Americans are good, and Matthew McConaughey is the man to lead us. Though I've forgotten that the first hour of this movie was, oh, Matthew's not ready to be a captain. Oh, darn, he's going to be the youngest captain. He wants to be, he wants to command battleships, but he's not ready, and he's not ready to make the hard decision, which is like smacking you in the face of foreshadowing. You're not ready to make the hard decision. You're not ready to make the hard decision. Well, you're not ready. Why? Well, because you're not ready to make the hard decision. I bet he's going to have to make a hard decision later on in this movie.
Yep. That was the very first thing that I thought when I saw it. I thought, okay, he's going to end up being the captain of a ship, and he's going to have to, you know, either choose between the life of one of his seamen or or you know, make another tough choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, but I mean, and how about the fact that like it was Bill Paxton who made the decision, right? And then all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 times before they get on this boat, he's like, "You still need to be my man. You still need to be like, you need to still be my bitch. I need you to be the best bitch that you can be because I didn't give you that boat, but I still need you to make the right decisions." And he said it like 2 or 3 times before they even got on the boat. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy I want following me in there, you know?
Yeah. It's like that. I don't know what it is. Is it like a coworker that pisses you off because he did something wrong, but then spends the next 3 weeks going, "Hey man, we good? We good?" Like,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
leave me the hell alone. We're fine, right? I've long since forgiven you for it. It's the same thing. Yeah. No, we good, right? We good? Yeah. Anyway, dumb. Dude was an ass, but he died. Like, that sucks. Oh yeah, the freaking Mazzoli dude. Like, he was kind of an ass and whatever, but I hate that he died. I kind of liked him. He was kind of growing on me. And my gosh, the German prisoner, why would you just have him hanging out at engineering? Like,
Oh,
Yeah, let's put him in the engine bay.
so
Nothing could go wrong there.
yeah, so dumb.
yeah. On a ship where you're supposed to stay silent, you know,
Yeah.
if anything should happen, you know, of course he's going to do Morse code on the wall.
Well, not even that. I'm
You know-
talking about when he was just hanging there with his hands up on that steel beam, whatever, and he kicked Tank in the face. Like, ooh, hey Molly.
That was the sound it made when he
I'm
kicked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he kicked Tank in the face, that's what he did.
Squeeze toy.
I'm upstairs and she still barks.
Nice.
It's just crazy.
But no, like the part that was really kind of not real to me was that when they picked him up, right, and then Keitel is out there going, "What are you?" And the guy says he makes the noise like he's an electrician. All right, fine. He lies, right? He's an electrician.
What?
So then, why wouldn't you then take, once things had kind of calmed down, why wouldn't you interrogate the hell out of that guy?
Right.
Who are you? Like, get your German weird dude,
Yeah.
Hirsch, over there with his big wrench and be like, "Who are you? No, what were you doing? What were your orders?"
Crush a
Like-
few fingers.
Like,
you know.
I'm not saying torture him, but I'm saying you interrogate him. You find out. And then it just seems such an inconvenience, not an inconvenience. It just seemed like, that's not the right word, a lack of effort on their part, on McConaughey and everybody else's part, to figure out who this guy was. Now, at one point in the script, I read this, I can't remember if I put it in trivia or not, but McConaughey is hanging out in the captain's quarters and sees the guy's picture and goes, "Hey, look, that's the captain." But crap, like, I feel like they should have talked to him instead of just hung him out to dry with Tank in the engine room.
Right, but
Left
okay,
up.
so how about when they're in the boats and they're in the 2 boats and it's raining and they're coming up on there and the kid who speaks German is like frozen, right? Like he's not talking and he's not saying anything and they're like, "Yo, you got to say something. You got to say something." Well, then he says like, "Whoa, we're all mechanics and we're going to have this boat fixed and ready in no time." Then the other 2 guys start spouting out German like it's fluent for them too. Like why? Like I guess because the kid was scripted to say he was the only one who could have talked at that moment.
Well, I think Hirsch, the taller dude, right? Hirsch was the only one that everyone knew spoke German, and that the kid winced. No one knew that he spoke German, and he was scared that if the other his men, the other guys, found out he spoke German, that they would hate him, right?
Well, no, yeah, but I got that. But like, if there were other people there who spoke German, because then, like I said, then they started speaking to the Germans fluently. Why didn't they just speak up?
No,
Why did
there
the
is
kid
there
have
is
to
no
say his
they.
part?
There is no they. There's Hirsch and Wentz. Those are the only two that spoke German. So Hirsch, being this military intelligence book nerd who has never been in any real danger in his life, is now faced with Germans with machine guns, and he froze. He had a moment of he froze, and so then Wentz speaks up because somebody needed to, and then that's when he kind of broke out of it and was like, "Oh wait, I have things that I should say," and then he overacts and whatever. But it's just the two of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess like why did they depend on the kid so much? Like, if the other guy could speak German, why didn't he just speak German?
Well,
Why did they have to
again,
wait
that-
for the kid to say something?
I think that was the point was they were trying to make is that Hirsch is this nerd, right? This CIA. I just write books for the CIA, right? Kind of guy, and he was never faced with danger, and so he just froze. That's why, because like McConaughey was like, "Dude, say something, say something." He kept nudging him, "Say something," and then he just froze. I think that's what it was. I mean, that was what I was getting from it. Has to pick some ship exploding was bad. Yeah. Yeah. Trope, the hero isn't ready trope, hero forced to be ready trope, and the commander doesn't have respect as a commander trope. And it takes him doing something crazy, which just happens to work in order to get the respect of his crew. So, trope, which is fine. Anything else we need to hammer out about this movie? Before I do clip.
Did we mention how bad Bill Paxton sucks?
Well,
yeah, is it bad I smiled a little bit when they're like, "Hey, look, it's Captain Face Blow Up out there."
his face was all
like,
burnt.
Yay.
He, like, loses at everything kind of guy. I mean, like, when he's like, if this goes south, I'm going to blow that Nazi boat up. And I mean, like, he didn't sound badass at all. I mean, it was just horrible. He's just not a hard-ass captain of a boat.
I just don't think he's a good actor.
All right, so I'm
neither.
I'm
Really
actually
don't think
on
he's a
Bill
good actor.
Paxton's. I want to go here for just a minute because we didn't really get a chance to go here the last time we had him on the movie the thing where what movie did we do? Friggin' not Snake Eyes, Nightcrawler. So movies that he's been in that we care about. Right, like, yeah, he was in Terminator as punk leader, and he was in Commando as intercept officer. The first movie that he was in that I cared about was Aliens, and he was Private Hudson. And all he did the whole movie was, "Game over, man. It's game over. We're going to die." So all he does is whine, right? So he was fine in that movie because he can do that well, right? He can whine and be a bitch well. Predator 2, again, all he did, he basically was the same thing in Predator 2, right? I think he might
Game over, man.
I think he might have even said that in Predator 2. I'm serious. It's pretty bad.
We got a guy who's camouflage. He's killing every one of us. Game over.
So then he does Tombstone. Now, Tombstone, I like that movie a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought Kurt Russell was fantastic. Val Kilmer is fantastic. Sam Elliott is pretty good. And Bill Paxton he's fine. He doesn't do a whole lot. I forgot Powers Booth was in that movie. Anyway, he does whatever. Then he does True Lies, where he's this slimy used car salesman, and he is perfect for that role.
Absolutely.
I pee myself when I get nervous, and he pees himself in front of him. He's like, "I got a little dick." Like, I love it, right? So he's great in True Lies because he's this weenie of a character. Then he does Apollo 13, which I'm going to be honest, I think is probably his best role
Yeah.
he's ever done. Honestly, like,
It's not great, but it's a good role, or
But-
the best one he's done.
and I
The
think
movie makes up for it.
you're right.
Yeah.
I think great director in Ron Howard. I think Ron Howard, though Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code are bad movies, I still think he's a great director. And that movie was amazing. I love that movie. And being stuck in a cabin with Tom Hanks and Kevin Bacon maybe just made him better for that movie because I thought he was really good in it. Twister, he's whatever. He's fine. It's not whatever.
Not a good actor.
He's not a good actor. He's not in that movie. But again, in that movie, he just has to be. again, that movie, they surrounded him with good actors. Did you know Philip Seymour Hoffman was in Twister?
Yeah, wasn't he a rival weather guy?
No. That was unlike other Robin Hood, speak with a British accent. That was Cary Elwes was the rival. But no, Philip Seymour Hoffman is like, dude, we're gonna go into the suck zone, man. He's that guy. Anyway, and then he does Titanic, which he's really bad in Titanic. Again, good movie, bad.
Again, yeah.
Mighty Joe Young, I don't even remember him in that movie. He does this movie.
He was the gorilla, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was great as the gorilla. Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Game over, man. Jeez, really? Hatfield and McCoy's, him and Kevin Costner. He was all right in that. I watched that. It was fine.
No, but you know what? Yeah, I gotta agree. But that was a weird miniseries. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a really good miniseries.
It was a really good
it
series,
was.
and he was good in it.
Yeah.
And then he was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as John Garrett. He was fine.
No.
And then I don't even remember him in Edge of Tomorrow, which I love that movie, but I don't even remember him from that.
Oh wait, that's right. He was the drill sergeant.
Oh, right. He was the drill sergeant.
Yeah, he was the jerk drill sergeant. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I can't buy him as that either, truth be told.
Oh, but I love that movie.
I love that movie too. It's great. And then now he's filming something he's doing a new TV show called Training Day. That's right.
Wait, the Denzel Washington thing?
Yep. Training Day, and it's him and Justin Cornwell.
Isn't he a singer?
I don't know, maybe. Justin,
Like all the like teenage girls like him.
Really?
No, that's
so?
Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there. He's not done a whole lot, this guy. So, this Justin kid. So basically, Justin is going to be the Ethan Hawke character, and Bill Paxton is going to be the...
Still haven't seen that movie. It's on my wish list.
Oh, man, dude.
Yeah.
That's Antoine Fuqua, the director. That's one of his best films, if not his best film. That movie is fantastic. And you will, at the end of that movie, despise Denzel Washington.
But I like Denzel.
You will not in this movie. Just saying. Not a spoiler, just saying.
Okay.
So my point is, Bill Paxton has had a long career of shit roles and has had basically one good movie where I thought he was good in, and that was Apollo 13. So there you go.
Did we mention how bad he sucks, though?
Oh, I felt bad for the guy in the water that drowned. He was stuck to the stretcher. I felt bad for that guy. What a terrible
I noticed that. It's like the first time I think I really noticed that this time, too.
What a terrible way to die.
So.
That has to, yeah, right. I mean, the homeboy gets shot, and that's bad enough.
Yeah.
And then he's got to drown.
Yeah. In a way that you can't save yourself, like you're stuck to the thing.
Yeah, strapped to it.
You could kind of swim with your chin.
I don't think that's called swimming. I think that's
called nodding really fast.
It's splashing water with your chin. You can do that in a swimming pool, but that's about it. You ready for some clippy clips?
Let's do it.
All right, here's a good old Southern garbage.
What's the meaning of this, Sergeant?
You the senior man?
That's right, I'm the XO of the S-33. These men have a 48-hour Liberty Pass.
No, sir. Not no more.
Because I'm military police and I ain't got no education. Okay. It's bad acting. That actor, though, he does a lot of film crew, or he's done, like, really good movies, but as, like, film crew, not actor. So there's a reason. I labeled this all the way. I can't remember what this was. Oh, this is Bill Paxton. There you go. I needed some Bill Paxton just to piss off Sam. So here's 15 seconds of Bill Paxton.
How deep does this thing go?
Oh, she'll go all the way to the bottom if we don't stop her. Normally, we try not to get below 150 feet. Any deeper, the leaks overwhelm the pumps. These S-boats are antiques. Older than most of the crew.
It's like he says, oh, she'll go all the way to the bottom if we don't stop her. And then he looks over at Bon Jovi like, hey, did you see that joke I just did? That was a good joke, right? That's pretty funny because I'm the captain and you have to laugh. You know. Anyway, dumb joke. Here we go. I wish Corny was here just for this one.
Number 10. There you go. You having a good night? Uh-huh. You ain't gonna be none too happy y'all lost this boat, lucky number 11. Let's go. It's your first time looking at a black man, ain't it? Get used to it. Let's go. Get over here.
Now, if Corny were here, and I'm putting words in his mouth, but I would bet you he'd make the joke that that's what he said to his in-laws when he first met them. I did not get permission to say that joke, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Oh, poor Corny.
Now, wait a minute. Since I'm representing Corny, I did take some notes. I do need you to understand that the black man was not the first one to die, and he survived to the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like almost an anti-trope that he lived the entire time.
You know what I'm saying? The whole entire time. And he was cooking eggs the whole entire way.
Yep. I already played this one, but I'm going to play it again because it's funny.
Portside deals is the good news. Where the crowd's head wrenching on didn't know a piston head from his sister's titty. I think I can fix it.
That's right. Maybe I'll keep that one and add it along that side of. There you go. So we'll have some of that. Here we go. Something about understand. Oh, this is 48 seconds. This was long. Okay, here we go.
This whole thing is crazy.
Oh. Okay, now I remember. Okay, so I captured this for two reasons. One, because it's Harvey Keitel being awesome, and two, it kind of pissed me off because the I think the kind of the impactful lines of dialogue are said off screen as we're looking at Matthew McConaughey's reaction, so you can't hear them very well, which is kind of frustrating. But anyway, it's 48 seconds of Harvey Keitel being great.
This whole thing is crazy. Just gonna lazo with a typewriter. It's not a typewriter. Hell, it ain't. It's got buttons like a typewriter. Yeah, whatever it is, it's crazy, but it's cool.
Navy says it's important. Navy says it's more important than you, him, me, fine. We're gonna die trying. That ain't crazy. That's our job.
Well, what I don't seem to understand, Chief, is how come you're not in charge? Scuttlebutt Dahlgren was kicking Tyler out of the Navy anyway, and everybody here knows that.
You do that shit right now, Sailor. Lieutenant Tyler is your commanding officer. You respect that man as such. Do you understand? Yes, Chief.
There you go.
He was the badass of the movie.
I wanted him to be my CO.
Well, most chief of the boats are that. They have to be, right? Because they're the old grizzled crew, because the chief is always the crew, right? They're the non-commissioned officers of the Navy, right? They are not officers, right? They didn't go to officer candidate school, but they are enlisted men who have gone on and have been successful in their career, and they're usually these grizzled old veterans, like the Sam Elliott character was in We Were Soldiers, the Sergeant Major. So
everybody respects him.
Right. Because he's lived through it, right? So Keitel's the same thing, and he's great, and I love it. So,
and Bill Paxton just sucked. In case I haven't mentioned that, I didn't know if I wanted to throw that one in there or not.
No, I appreciate that you keep bringing that up.
Yeah. It was good that he didn't say that line. That'd have been 45 seconds of suck ass.
Yeah. Ew. No one wants that.
Nobody wants that.
But no, I just I thought Keitel was great, and he's intense, right? Like that intro that I played. He's just got this intensity about him that is just is really cool. I liked him. Here you go.
See that structure topside just after the flying bridge with the big antenna sticking out of it?
Yes, sir.
That's the Radio Shack.
There you go. There's your Radio Shack.
Yep. People with the little red shirts and the tags on.
Yeah.
Milling about, and all of a sudden they get blown up. Poor people.
I know, right? They're just trying to sell you an iPhone, and all of a sudden, boom.
Hi there. Do you need help with your router installation?
Yeah.
Yes, I need a power cord.
What about an Ethernet cable?
Did you try to reboot the system first?
Oh, 1-star review
I'm still
from
in high school.
Radio Shack employees. And this is 7 seconds of really bad Matthew McConaughey acting.
And you're gonna go back down in that bilge. You're gonna do your job, sailor.
That's bad.
But it was still better than Bill Paxton. Did I mention that?
Yes, you have. Thanks, JP. Okay. Oh, damn. Here we go.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I don't know why, but that just made me laugh. I've played that clip 42 times, and it still makes me laugh. Trivia: a History Channel review of the movie, in which aired soon after its release, included a German World War II U-boat commander. At the end of the show, he was asked for his opinion of the authenticity, I can read, of the movie. His response, quote, "They got one thing right in the movie. There were U-boats in the North Atlantic during the Second World War," end quote. So, Andrew, if that answers your question about
yes, it does.
How accurate this movie was, I already mentioned that one.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. For authenticity, the stage crew made a working submarine for filming in the Mediterranean off Malta. During production, an American warship appeared and was so taken in by the Nazi submarine that they actually sent an armed team to board it. That's awesome if that's real. I just would love that. Like some captain is on this boat and all of a sudden he sees it and he goes, "Wait, is that a Nazi U-boat? You better go find out if that's an actual, like, you know, maybe they didn't think it was Nazis, but maybe they thought like pirates or something."
When you see a Nazi ship of any kind, a spaceship from the moon, you're going to have to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
You know
there's going to be spies on board.
That's right.
Yeah.
I said that one in the original script when Tyler, is thoughtfully looking at the pictures of the German submarine's mess. He recognizes the prisoner wearing a captain's uniform. Okay, so there you go. So that's that. So this is 16-year-old, this movie, so we can play the recasting game real quick if we want to. Who would we get to do this movie now?
Bill Paxton.
Just let him die again?
Let him do all parts.
No,
Absolutely.
No, I don't like that at all.
Dwayne Johnson as the captain.
I think there's actually there's probably a height and weight restriction that he would not like. I don't think he could fit in a submarine.
They could have used him as a torpedo.
They just shoot him out and he just punches the other boats until they sink. I like this idea. Who could we do?
I think one of the Hemsworths would be okay. As
yeah.
Maybe Liam.
Yeah. What about
Chris decided we're done.
Joe Pesci.
What about what about
take a dive. What'd you say? Take a dive. You looking at me? Take a dive.
What about Andrew Garfield as the young captain?
Yeah. Or Dave Franco.
Who's Dave Franco?
Dave Franco. It's James Franco's brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was in Now You See Me.
Now You See Me movies. Yeah. I guess maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen him in anything but those movies, but maybe he has the chops for it. Who's our grizzled chief of the boat?
John Stamos.
Hasselhoff.
John Stamos is anything but grizzled. He is this sexy, suave 55-year-old. Like, you know.
Okay, fine. Dave Coulier.
No, I don't want him doing shadow puppets on the walls and stuff. You watching Fuller House or something?
Just get the whole cast of Full House on the U-boat.
Oh,
there you go.
Full boat. Call it Full Boat.
Yeah. The Olsen twins. You know, they could be the engine room engineers.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe a Tom Hanks.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he grizzled? Can he be grizzled? I don't know.
Tom Hanks can do any damn thing that he wants to
Well,
do.
you're very
right.
You're very true on that.
Or Grizzly Adams.
Grizzly Adams. And Grizzly Adams had a beard. Grizzly Adams did have a beard. Tom Hardy.
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas. That's interesting. He might be too old to play.
Isn't he the one that just turned 100? Is that why I'm remembering that name? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Kirk Douglas. My brain went to Michael Douglas, who is also too old.
How about Sean Connery?
Yeah, he's not coming out of retirement.
He's been in a boat before.
Yes,
He was
Yes, he
was
is.
embarrassed. Yeah, he was a pretty good captain, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide, right?
No.
Ooh.
Hunt for Red October.
That's
Our
what it-
third
yeah,
episode
yeah.
and most
was it
listened
Denzel
to.
was in?
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, Denzel was Crimson Tide.
Oh, what about Gene Hackman? He might be too old too. Gene Hackman could be the actual the captain who dies.
Bob Saget.
Again with the Full House. Anyway, what it boils
Bill
to-
Paxton needs to be the one that dies.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So bring
Yes.
him back. Oh, what about Jared Leto? As I'm looking at him in the Joker from the Suicide extended cut, owned now on Blu-ray.
As the grizzled captain?
No. Jared Leto was the young captain.
Oh.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
We should find a way to get Margot Robbie on a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Any way
Yeah.
we can.
And it's awfully hot on those boats. So,
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Anyway. Soundtrack great. I gave it just typical military, drums and whatever. It was good. There was some moments where when they were when they got on the German boat and they were figuring things out and they were diving, Sarah looks at me and goes, "That's pretty epic music for just them going under the water." I'm like, "Hello."
Well, have you ever gone under the
They're
water?
going under the water in a boat which they read none of the language and is kind of jacked up. So it's actually kind of impressive that they were able to do that. Which her response was an eye roll and a fine. So.
Oh, speaking of which, that was something that the wife brought up while she was watching the movie. She was like, "It," and I guess what else do you do? But like they're under the water, and they're raining down the depth charges, and everybody's looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see nothing but the same shit that you would see if you look down. It's just metal all around you, but they're all looking up like they can see something or like they know that it's coming from the sky,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what I would do in that situation as well. I'd probably like close my eyes really hard, kind of like you're, tensing up or something.
Yeah.
During that position or.
But
maybe
look at somebody or read a book or something. I mean, what the
Or
hell
if you
can
like,
do?
if you jump at the right time, everything else moves around you.
Yeah,
and you
right?
are perfectly still.
Yeah, the
And you
elevator
come back
trick?
down totally okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's how it works. I don't think reading a book is going to work either. The captain might be kind of pissed.
I feel like you guys just described an acid trip or something.
Yeah, right. But I mean, while you're waiting to die, you might as well read the manual maybe to the boat, Well, maybe learn some German while you're sitting there waiting to implode.
I honestly, I think I would do what they were doing, looking up. Because, like, if you're in your house and you hear a thunderstorm and you hear a crack of thunder, you look up. It's just
Or
kind
go
of...
to the window. They
Right.
should have went to the windows. They
You
could've
go to
seen
the
more.
window and look up. Like, they don't have windows to look up. So they just look up.
Could they have taken turns looking through the periscope?
I think that's kind of reserved for the captain. I don't think that would work down there. When it's underwater, it would just let water into the boat.
That's why you put your fingers in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's a leak. Oh, put your finger in.
Yeah. Just keep your finger there for the rest of the way. I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's what happened to the Dutch submarines.
Oh yeah, they all had little guys with fingers.
Little
That's how they
Dutchmen put
propel
their
themselves. As everybody moves their finger at the same direction.
Yep.
Couldn't do the Dutch down there with their wooden shoes when they too much noise while they were running around on the
Click,
metal
clack,
planks.
click, clack, click, clack. Yeah.
Well, and that was something too, right? They're all whispering, like, "Shh, quiet. We can't say anything. Okay, open the hatches for the torpedo tubes." And I'm like, they didn't hear that. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Don't forget to mention too, the radar guy was like, everybody's silent. I think I hear two things dropping in the water. I hear two things dropping in the water. Did you hear me? Do I need to repeat myself? Two things dropping in the water.
Fire up the diesel engines as quiet as possible.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was curious about because every other submarine movie that I've seen, serious or not, there has always been a moment where they're, all right, complete silence. They shut the engines off and no one speaks or moves. And I thought I was waiting for that moment in this movie. And even though they were whispering, it was rather loud whispers.
Well, I think we can say to that effect that 1940 something's hydrophones were probably not nearly as sophisticated as what we have now. So movies like Crimson Tide or Hunt or any of the other newer ones, where you can actually listen to things in the ocean, then I would bet that then whispering would probably be okay. But to JP's point about them making all the noise with the torpedoes, I'm trying to think, though, did they ever, I don't think they did anything. They weren't doing anything mechanical while trying to be silent, but I don't know, whatever. Are we ready to do top three?
All right.
All right. Okay. Sure. No. Yeah. Anyway.
No.
No?
No. Let's not.
Okay. Well, of course, we're gonna do top three submarine movies. I have a pretty good feeling that all of us are gonna say at least one of the movies. All of us are gonna have at least the same movie in our top three. I would bet, but we will see. We will see. Andrew, sir, you are up.
I just want to say to all our listeners out there, all 7 of you, we've gained like 3. When we were talking about what our top 3 was going to be, Sean did get a chubby when we said we were going to do submarine movies.
Yes, he did.
Just so you know.
Yeah. He was his face got flushed.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. If you thought Sean was red before, he was red. Let me tell you.
How red was he?
Yes,
he was so red.
Was I all red? Even
he was all red.
These are the jokes, ladies and gentlemen. These are the jokes. There's somebody out there right now going, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to the beginning of the episode. All right, go ahead.
All right, sorry, top 3 submarine movies.
Whoa, what's going on?
Oh, hang in there. Start again.
In your Terminator voice.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
Your internet just got all weird and crusty.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Okay, top 3 submarine movies. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Good?
You're fine, dude. Go ahead.
All right. Number 3, Crimson Tide.
All right.
Which I was in 5th grade when that movie came out, and I believe it was the second R-rated movie that I was allowed to watch, but I actually went to the theater to see this, and I think my parents did not realize that it was R-rated when we went, because we went with a couple of our family friends, and I remember my mother putting her hands over my ears in several scenes. What she could predict anyway. So that's number 3. Number 2, Down Periscope.
Nice.
Yeah, very funny movie.
Yes,
And,
I kind of want to do that for the podcast. I know it's a comedy, but I kind of want to do that for the show.
Comedy's against the rules?
Well, no, it's not against the rules. It's just sometimes it's hard to review comedies because they're being intentionally dumb at things. And so you're like, hey, that's kind of dumb, but that was the point, But
Kelsey Grammer is hilarious.
He really is. And I really just, for the simple fact, I want the rip-torn line where he says, damn it to hell, don't go by the book, think like a pirate. I want a man with a tattoo on his dick. If I got the right man, by some strange coincidence you do, sir. So I want that in my audio file. Anyway, sorry, Andrew.
All right, and I think we're probably all in agreement on this. Number 1, The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
Maybe.
And Down Periscope is not streaming on the Netflix. JP, I about called you corny. JP.
I would say Crimson Tide would be number 3. Number 2 would be Hunt for Red October.
Ooh.
But Das Boot was freaking amazing.
It's on my list of shame.
No.
I have not seen Das Boot. No.
Oh, man.
It's even it has a German title. I can't believe I've never seen it.
It is ridiculously, gripping.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Hey, very good. Sam.
All right. Number 3, I have Crimson Tide.
Okay.
Number 2, I have The Abyss.
Okay. Yeah.
And number 1, I have Jurassic Park. No, Hunt for Red October.
You almost had me for a second. I was like, wait, what? How was he going to spin this?
I tried. I thought maybe the lawyer swimming around in the T-Rex stomach is a kind of a submarine.
Or a submarine.
But, yeah. So, and it was raining pretty hard
Sam,
when the car...
Sam, you ready for this? I would bet that at the end of Jurassic Park 3, when the entire army invades the beach, there's probably a submarine out there.
Well, and you got to think, too, in Jurassic Park 3, when the boat was attacked going down the river...
Yeah.
Technically that boat was kind of a submarine, but I hate that movie so much.
Actually, wouldn't the dinosaur be the submarine in that case?
Because they were all in a cage, That's kind of like the people in the boat, sinking in the submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad we...
Could we have thrown Men of Honor in there? Were they technically submarines? They were submerged in metal?
Well, they weren't considered submariners. They were considered Navy divers.
We tried.
That is a good movie. One of my favorite Cuba Gooding Jr. movies. But no. My number 3, you understand, yeah. So my number 3 is Down Periscope. 2 is Crimson Tide. Number 1 is Hunt for Red October. Crimson Tide was, I think, the first or second soundtrack I ever purchased. Because Hans Zimmer floored me in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just floored me.
I still listen to that soundtrack once in a while.
Amazing. They get the Navy choir to sing the Navy hymn in the movie when the boat is slowly sinking, about getting ready to hit crush depth.
Yep.
Oh, it just gives me chills. It's just fantastic. Fan-flippin-tastic. All right, out of 10. Here we go. Out of 10. Andrew, you're out of 10, sir.
All right. I will, like I said, I liked the movie for what it was. And now that I have a little bit more background on the historical accuracy, I like it a little bit less. But I still, for what it was a pretty decent movie. I'm going to say, let's say a 6.2 seaman out of 10.
Okay. JP in for Corny.
I mean, it was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but for obvious reasons, I'm going to give it a 5.71.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, you're so funny, Japes.
I just thought I'd throw that out there, right?
5.7.
I'm obviously pretty tired because it took me a whole 15 seconds to figure out what you meant there.
I still think Sam hasn't quite got it yet. Are you with us now, Sam?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. I just wanted to make sure you got the joke.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Good job, James. Sam.
I'll say a 6.5.
What? I can't type in numbers.
Just bleep it out.
Yeah,
just bleep it out.
Do I need to bleep that?
6.5.
Yeah.
Oh.
6.5. It's pretty good. It's a fun little. If you don't know the real history, it's a fun little movie. Interesting little twists in there. So yeah, it's a good little film.
All right. A good little phlegm.
It's a good little phlegm.
I've had a cold last week and a half. I understand about good phlegm.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to just give it a 6.25 torpedoes. We need to get out of the boat before they blow the boat up. I like the movie. It's always kept me entertained. I like the sea warfare. I like the World War II-ness of it. I think Matthew McConaughey has many years to go before we think of him as a good actor in this movie. Obviously, Harvey Keitel is the best part of this movie by far. But it's a fine movie. It's a fine film, and I'm actually kind of sad the director's kind of gone by the wayside. I wish he can do more stuff, but Terminator 3 probably kind of killed his career.
I probably would have given it like a 5.72 if Bill Paxton wasn't in it.
Oh, okay.
Did I mention how bad he sucks?
Well, I think you might have. I can't remember. We'll have to go back and
if I brought that up.
Listen
Write
to
it
all
down.
of the audio tapes. So yeah, write it down. I will do that. That's gonna do it. Thank you for listening to our show. That was a lot of fun, and yeah. So before I do our full outro here, next week. So we had something else, and I forgot what it was already. Was not streaming. So then the next movie on the list also wasn't streaming. So I decided to pull up from the bench, so to speak. It was actually, we weren't going to watch it until sometime in February or January, but I'm just going to go ahead and basically make December our World War II appreciation month for whatever reason. So next week we're doing Saving Private Ryan. So if you've not watched that movie, the first 15 minutes are pretty brutal. So tuck in. Not one for the children. So just giving you a heads up there if you've not watched it before. So Saving Private Ryan is next week. The great Spielberg movie. I'm very much looking forward to it because I have not watched it in its entirety in probably 10 years and maybe more. So looking forward to that. With that all having been said, hey JP, thank you so much for filling in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that's been great.
Yeah, appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. So next week, Corny will be back. He will be joining us for our movie that is Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, that's right. And then the week after that, which will technically already have passed Christmas, but we will be doing Gremlins as kind of our Christmas movie. We were requested to do Gremlins, so
I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen Gremlins in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either. So we'll be doing Gremlins. There's some other good stuff coming up. Some new stuff has hit Netflix. So we've got some new things coming up. If you have anything you want us to do, if you see something on Netflix or Amazon streaming, are the only two that we really do anything from, feel free to send us an email to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com. Of course, you can.
And English people, those British folks over there, send your hate mail to Sean. Remember all the horrible things he said.
Yeah, and again, that was actually Sam. So that would be Sam Vector at IamAdouchebag.com. So you really did change that email address. Anyway,
I should, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. You get a lot of porn requests in there, don't you? That's fine. Anyway, so listen for next week, and to our English or British friends. Again, we're sorry that we try to steal everything. And by we, of course, I mean Hollywood, not the four of us. We're awesome people. Sorry. Leave us a review, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. We really need you to leave us reviews. They kind of help us with funding and things like that when it comes to sponsorships and stuff like that. So please help us out there. Leave us reviews. We really, really need them. Visit our website, cheapseatreviews.com, where you can see past episodes and laugh at us as we're hilarious in other episodes, but not this one. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/cheapseatreviews. Follow us on Twitter @cheapseatcast. And of course, like I said, you send us your emails to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com. And again, thanks so much for JP for filling in. That was a lot of fun. So on behalf of Corny, who will be back next week, Andrew, JP, Sam, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.
I was excited.